Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it is my distinct pleasure to welcome you here to the last game of the first day of Siege of Limerick. I am Lorcan Murray and I am joined by the inimitable Owen Binchy. How you feeling, Binch?
I don't really know what inimitable means, but I'm feeling that, I suppose.
I'll take it. That kind of agreement is exactly why we make such a good partnership. And right now we see two teams currently battling it out to make it into the top 8 tomorrow in a quarter-final berth. Gentle, who came from the upper brackets but had a tough time today, looking to see off Vision, who have been fighting their way up all day long. The boys on the Stag Tour taking on the gentlemen from Gelt. As we see a huge throw go up from Vision, they got the first point with an offensive hold. That is a magnificent shot, but it was just too far ahead and too high in the air.
Yeah, I like the look though. It's Vision just don't want to play with the disc in their own half. Take shots when they can get it, put it on the dance floor, as you say. Any chance is a good chance, so as long as they keep the chances down at the other end zone, they're going to eventually pot one of these away.
The wind has died down somewhat over the course of the day, so now we will hopefully see a little bit more consistent play. Gentle always struggling in the wind. Huge defensive block by Vision, getting up big and knocking that away. Fantastic zone effort out of the Brits, who now find themselves staring into the end zone and the opportunity for a break.
That's exactly the place they wanted to get the turnover, but it's blocked right back by Gentle.
So they will go back down the pitch. Let's see what they can do with his with the disc in his hands. Verikan, he pops it off, playing it back and forth. Sends it all the way across the pitch. Loping, quick little pass, beautifully done to Van de Voorde. And they're working together nicely. That's Van de Voorde. Getting it back, centering it into the middle. As Gentle continue to cycle it around. Stuck on one sideline with Verikan. And a nice hammer over the top. Gentle not too afraid to throw out different kinds of looks, but not too experienced in windy conditions. A huge hammer the length of the pitch in a bit of a battle. But one that fantastic positioning sees Alex Nicholson defend.
Offensive player did get a hand to it, but he just didn't quite manage to get under that. That is a hammer coming in upside down, so of course it's going with one hand and you're only getting the underside of the disc. You're really asking a lot to pick that up. It was really good positioning from the defensive player there from Vision.
Ambitious, but perhaps too much so, as now we see Vision trying to go back in the opposite direction. A lovely throw through to number 12, Nick Brownbill. Awful lot of height on that disc, and just waiting to collect on the other end is the Gentle defender, Verikan. But then an unfortunate drop coming out of his hands. I believe that was Moon's, but it's difficult to tell. Huge laser flick, dying and gone. Yeah. So a lot of turnovers on this point after a very calm offensive hold from Vision.
Yeah, it's just a little bit jittery from Gentle's O-line here, and I have to say, if I'm Vision, I'd be pretty happy with this. Vision held their first point with no turnovers through the Gentle zone. They worked it about 30, 40 passes to get the score. Here we've seen many, many more turnovers, and as Gentle's D-line, you've got to, or as Vision's D-line, you've got to be happy with that. They're getting chances to score, and they're going to hit one of these eventually.
So now let's see if Gentle can make their way down the pitch with a bit more composure than they've shown so far. Gentle trotting out a lot of young players, new recruits, who they're hoping can really shine for them as the season goes on. They like to come to Siege to practice in the windy conditions. Huge huck going all the way down the field. They're not afraid of shooting it despite the presence of Nicholson, who's been pestering those receivers all day long. It looked like Fuse was going to be able to get there, but Nicholson just too determined.
Yeah, the tall Gentle players were there first, but didn't get a good jump at it, and Vision managed to get the disc back.
So Nicholson sends it into the middle of the pitch, waiting there for him. Brownbill plays it down the line.
Just unfortunate turnover there.
So now Gentle coming back in the opposite direction. A couple of players unmarked, so you'll have to forgive us for not knowing their names as they send it around.
Seems like both teams have reverted back to man now.
Van de Voorde goes with a beautiful scuba all the way across, and the overheads finally work, and I think the third time of asking it, those shots to the end zone.
Yeah, I think there were just a lot of turnovers there, and eventually Vision didn't turn on their D as quickly as they needed to. A lot of players were left unmarked, and then Gentle just picked out the free man in the end zone with an easy scuba. Easy score for Gentle to tie up the game, 1-1.
Benjamin Verikan, an absolutely stellar player for this side. You have to think Gentle will be a little bit disappointed with how it's gone for them so far. How were their earlier results, Owen?
Gentle, so far today, have played Pelt and they lost 10-6. And then their second game, they pretty hockeyed Reading, 13-1. And then they had the final game against the group leaders, Alba 2. They were down about, I think, about 10-5 in that game, or 11-5, and they brought it back to 12-11. But Alba finally managed to seal at the end of that group. They would have forced a three-way tie in that group had they won it. But unfortunately, they didn't manage to win, and they're playing here to stay in the top 8.
It was a real back and forth game. Gentle went 4-1 up against Alba before Alba came back with a 6-1 run of their own, and then were able to hold on to that lead for the rest of the match, as now we see Vision getting ready to make their way down the pitch.
And the zone look here from Gentle. Really just trying to make Vision throw all the passes backwards, but they don't want to.
Launching it all the way down the pitch. A good look, but not able to connect as it bounces out of the hands of the intended receiver. Having a little bit of a conversation between him and his defender, Howard de Vrint.
I think that's what the Vision really want, though. Get the disc down to the other end. The territory is really important on a day like today in the wind. Even though the wind's dying down a bit, you want to get it into the other end, team's end zone or half, get a turnover there, and then play short field.
So now we see Isaac van de Vee looking to start things off with a huge huck. This is all action in this final game of the day. Nobody really wants to play the short game. Instead, just shots, 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 shots.
The Gentle team very happy with that one. They're all coming on cheering. There's a good break for Gentle now to take 2-1 leads, and they are the higher seeds, so they would be wanting to settle into this game a bit more, get their D-line out, more points, get the Gentle's O-line tired.
So here we see the huge shot from Van de Vee.
And that's Howard de Vrint with the score.
Absolutely fantastic flick hook down to de Vrint, and then just a nice huge grab, which you can't really see right there. And then nice and composed, pops it in. And Gentle very fired up.
It seems like both teams have kind of got a bit of a hang of the wind now today. A lot of these hooks aren't hooks at nothing. They're hooks to players who are making good cuts. They're not so much hidden hopes that we saw this morning with their earlier games. A lot of these are coming off. And so the real difference here today is going to be whoever sends the most players deep, whoever catches the most discs.
Well, that certainly plans to be an exciting game for us. Whoever catches the most discs, generally a good barometer for who is doing better in an ultimate game, but not always.
Not always.
We'll see if either team wants to start using their shorter game. Gentle's play was quite effective earlier on, working down the pitch, but really had to rely on something spectacular to get the score.
Yeah, it looks like Gentle are setting up a zone here again, so they're really going to force Vision into taking as many passes as possible. Try and get a short field turn, convert short field. Of course, Vision probably don't want to turn over down here, so I'm expecting them to send it in a few passes.
So Oliver Brown just escaping the defensive interests of Gentle there. Really looked like that hand block was coming. Brown back in the middle, running the show. Eventually gets it, looks at Oxton, decides against it, goes in the opposite direction. Brown is in the middle and he's open, gets it back, has Oxton, looks through the zone a few times first, and instead just keeps going at that wall, unable to get it through the gap this time. Excellently done by Gentle.
Yeah, that's exactly what Gentle wanted. Now they only have about 30 yards to go.
So Verikin pops it down the line to Midnacht. Middernacht pops it back. Another hammer fake, because when you go for those overheads early, they're going to have to start respecting them. Verikin gets it down the line, comfortably so, and then that shot to the end zone is beautiful, well taken in by Arthur Fuse.
Yeah, that's just fantastic composure from Gentle. They get a short field turn, but they don't rush it, they don't panic like we saw in their first O-line point. They took their time, hit a few dumps and swings, and then a really strong backhand to the back corner. Defender had no chance.
That's much more composed offense.
Another break now from Gentle.
So they're starting to take a bit of a better lead. You can see here the play down the line, wonderfully done. And then he would go on to throw it, lighting the fuse and trying to set this Gentle offense on fire. So let's see what Vision can do to respond. It was a strong opening from them, but they've now conceded 3 in a row. As there we see Fuse chasing down that disc in the back corner.
Yeah, I definitely feel like momentum is hugely in Gentle's favor at the moment. I see Vision are taking quite a while to walk down to the line and get ready here. It's a great throw there. We'll see again in the replay. But Gentle were really eager to get this point started. They had their 7 out almost as soon as they scored.
Pressing their advantage whenever they can. Howard de Vrint, disc in hand. He took down that big huck earlier on, and now he sends a massive pull of his own. And Vision looking to get things going. They've been somewhat stymied, trying to find their way out of the darkness and back into the light. Nice little play by Brownbill, working well with one of their main handlers. Nice break. Brownbill has it in the middle, and a little bit of popping, giving and going back and forth for resetting. This is better from Vision, relaxed. A cheeky little backhand, got a nip of it on the defensive end, but still finds its way to its intended target. Now we see Phil Marshall getting himself a bit more involved. He's been working well with Brownbill. Nicholson, of course, one of the leading handlers for this team. Brownbill tries to get it to Marshall, can't. Happy to send it to Nicholson. Popped it down the line again. And Vision much more composed this time around. Really being fairly more relaxed. Those backhand breaks are beautiful, carving up the offense. Or sorry, the zone. Brownbill pops back in the middle to Nicholson. And this is better. The swinging, the dumping, relaxed, and the easy open throw is dropped by Jack Little.
That's just unfortunate. Vision did everything right. Vision did everything right there. They took 40, 50 passes, never under too much pressure, always breaking it, getting into the far sideline, bringing it back. But it's just unfortunate error on the last pass.
So Van de Voet started things off before sending into de Vrint. He's put up a big floaty disc that somehow managed to make its way to Gentle player, but he couldn't bring it down. So Vision get another go. Now the last time there was multiple turns, they started getting a bit more reckless, going for further and further throws. Sam Beach swinging that over to the unmarked handler, the mysterious man at the center of this offense. Beach pops it down. That's Brownbill. He has Nicholson to one side, Beach to the other. Goes instead to the steadying force of Vision's offense. Nicholson to Brownbill.
I have to say, I'm very impressed with how Gentle are handling this zone, or Vision are handling this zone. They're really not panicking, and they're not letting it get trapped on this sideline. They're taking it their time, working it around. If they send it backwards, they're always looking to swing, break the mark. And
Beach comfortably back into Marshall. And now, as you can see, just calmly working it around. They're doing a great job of always knowing they have a free pass, not always going for it, but never forcing themselves into a break they're uncomfortable with, because they can relax knowing that they have those options. Oh, and that one was almost snuffed out, but somehow he sneaks it through to Brownbill. Those backhand breaks are really crucial for Vision. Brownbill pops it. He has Nicholson just there and a nice around. So now Nicholson looking for somebody. Gentle swarm and collapse in on that front corner. Nicholson gets it out to Beach. He has Marshall directly in front of him and scores.
And that's a really big point now for Vision, you have to say. They managed to throw about 100 passes in that point. They had one unfortunate turnover, just an individual error on the end zone, but they were destroying that zone, taking their time, no pressure on them. They felt so comfortable swinging and breaking the zone. Here we see them just getting it through, not panicking. Even though there were a lot of players there, they still just do what's right, break it to the far side and take the easy look to the end zone. And that's Phil Marshall with the score, also known as the talent on the team.
So despite being on a team called Vision, he is locked in an internal battle with teammate Mike Grimvad Mann to see who has the worst eyesight. Currently right now, I think you'd have to give that to Mike. As right there, that was rather brilliant from Vision. They do have the ability to work the way through the zone. It was a little confusing to see them maybe get caught up in the adrenaline of the early exchanges. Somewhat now, they've settled.
Yeah, definitely. I think the wind is dying down a little bit and teams are getting more comfortable with this wind and knowing how much lip to put on the disc on their throws, how to control the wind and use it to their advantage.
There's now a big pull coming up out of Oliver Brown, sending it down to the awaiting Gentle offense. That was ever so close to Van de Voet giving away a drop pull, just able to jump over the top in the end. As now we see Gentle working their way down. Van Danaby, a beautiful scoover to Van de Voet. A nice little calm play. That's Van Vey. Pops it out to the far sideline. Has Van de Voet. Gives it to Van Vey. And they continue that swing across. This is textbook offense from Gentle. Van Vey with the disc back in his hands. Or sorry, Vrieken. Swing it around, Van de Able. And over the top, comfortably to Van de Vee. Takes the easy dump, which is exactly what the coaches like to see. And that one was always skimming the ground. I think you'd have to have some legitimacy to that down call.
Yeah, that was very close. It does say in the rules, if you're not sure, that the throw should go back. And it seems like a lot of people aren't sure. The Vision player is saying he saw it skim along the ground, but everyone else seems to be not sure either way. They're turning around looking at us.
Well, as unbiased as we're supposed to be, they are allowed to turn to us and ask.
Here we see it on the replay. It's very difficult to see.
It's tough. You kind of have to go by the shadow. Let's see.
Oh, I think
that looks like it might have been up. I was convinced it was down, to be honest with you.
It definitely wasn't down on the start of his flight, which I thought they were calling at the beginning, but towards the end, it was very close.
Well, they've gone back. An amicable arrangement. And one you have to respect. Spirit coming to the fore again.
Yeah, definitely the fairest option, as mentioned in the rules.
So De Stoop gives it across to Van de Vee. And they continue that swing all the way across to Van de Voorde. Beautiful throw over the top. That man likes his overheads and his team likes to collect them. This time, Mitternacht getting the point.
That was absolutely fantastic. And you see Gentle here are just not afraid to throw these overheads. They've been throwing loads of them. Even in their game against Albert 2 earlier, they were just so happy to throw overheads whenever they want. And they're really not letting this wind affect them. It looks like it's a gentle day out there to them. Fantastic scuba here. Just out of reach of the bidding defender. No pressure on the receiver.
That's Van de Voorde.
And I have to say, I commended Vision's offense in the last point, but I really commend Gentle's offense here. They were really chilly, kept the disc, and
smooth.
Very comfortable with these overheads. So if we can see them to keep doing that, I don't think they're going to have any pressure from the Vision zone. And Vision might have to look to change it up, go to man, or maybe some sort of poach to try and figure things out, make Gentle think about things. But at the moment, Gentle just seemed very comfortable there. No turnovers, I don't think, at that point for them.
It was the kind of offense they've been trying to play all game long. They were under a lot of pressure in their earlier group games and couldn't quite get it going for themselves, but seemed to have really settled into this matchup. So now Vision down in their own end zone. Let's see if they can respond in kind. We know they're capable of having a flawless offense, by which I mean an offensive hold without a turnover. But right now, Gentle's match defense has been very effective, shutting them down. Here's the big shot, a bit too short. Coming under, bounces out of the hands of the intended receiver, Alex Haitley.
And he's just hitting himself there. He should have caught that. Or so he thinks anyway.
So Gentle respond almost immediately. A huge shot all the way downfield. The bid was available, but unfortunately, Depote could not get there in time.
Yeah, it was a good effort. I think it was the right look for Vision, or for Gentle to do there. Sending it back the way, keep when the defense aren't fully set. Take the free man who's busting deep. Unfortunate, it was just too far. But it's interesting to see now that both teams have seemed to have changed over to person defense, going for the one-on-one matchups, realizing that the wind has died down slightly and that both these O-lines seem really comfortable in the zones that they've thrown at each other after the first few points.
So Oliver Brown picking it up and getting things started. Gets it to the waiting hands of Nicholson. He thinks about sending it.
Great switch there.
Excellent switch to be able to stop that off, but tireless work from Phil Marshall. And now he gets it across to Paddy Hart. Thinks about the shot, pulls his defender to the ground and takes it anyway. But that slight second almost cost them, but this time there are no mistakes. Alex Haitley.
That was fantastic. I really enjoyed that. That was really some fast play. Great switch in front by Gentle's defense, but Vision kept calm, hit the swing, and it's really speeding up now since they switched to person defense. Like, I was really enjoying the tactical display that we were seeing with the O-line in the zone, but here we're just seeing really good individual play, swinging the disc when you need to, faking the hook to draw the defender out, and that's Paddy Hart with the hook. Great fake, opens up the backhand hook, trusts his big tall receiver in the end zone, and even with the two Gentle players in the area, there were 3 Vision players. It was a good score for Gentle, or for Vision. Alex Haitley with the score there.
Able to take it down, making up for his end zone drop earlier in the game. Something I'm sure he'd be quite happy to have done. So, Vision are able to pull it back within 1. They did start on offense, so Gentle are still in the lead by 2 breaks. That's a comfortable position to be in, but it's still a close game, and there are early days yet. A place in the quarterfinals against Ranelagh, awaiting the victor of this game. Nice play to De Stoop. Gets it back into the middle. Looks for it again. We're back to a bit of a battle of the zones. See who can be the more composed player. Swinging out wide to De Stoop. He sees a deep shot on the opposite end of the pitch, snuffed out by Nicholson. That's some good positioning by the deep defender. But they're doing a good job of trying to split him, and they've trapped him there. Excellent stuff. Mithernacht on the opposite sideline was the reason they were able to get that much space. And now it's in the incredibly inventive hands of Van der Voode. But he goes for a dump. I mean, understandable, but slightly disappointing. And a huge layout D. That is Nicholson coming all the way from the deep position, and a little bit too lackadaisical by Verrieken.
Yeah, that was just fantastic. He saw the play, it was getting a bit loose, managed to see that the offensive player was kind of standing still on that under channel, and made up some ground with great bid for a D there. Get Vision back this disc as he picks it up now.
I'm a big fan of the type of player like Alex Nicholson, who plays deep in the zone, but then can turn around and get the offense started with handling abilities. Unfortunately there, that one just escaped him. Tom Oxton putting it slightly too far in front. And immediately Verrieken ready to get things going. Dispute, huge shot. Beautifully collected. That was a fantastic throw, and Van der Voode on the other end of an overhead.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic. We see Gentle just going back to their overheads, which they're so good at. They're really opening up the back corners of these end zones with them, or hitting dumps just over the top. And it's really something that Vision are going to have to think about now if they want to keep playing this zone. That just Gentle's prowess with these overheads is absolutely phenomenal.
So you see Verrieken getting it started as soon as he can. And this is brilliant stuff by De Stoop.
Yes, he has 2 players there.
And Van der Voode chasing it down and collecting it. So, a comfortable hold eventually after a couple of turnovers.
We just saw the one great layout D from Vision to get the disc, but we didn't hold on to it for too long. And there he is, getting his team very fired up. Gentle are very happy to be here. Of course, these are one of their long-time returning teams to the Siege of Limerick. Last time they were here 2 years ago, they managed to get to our quarter-final against Clapham, which they unfortunately lost. This year they'll be trying to go at least one step further. But first of all, they have to win this match and push Vision down to the lower bracket.
So Hart centers it to Brown, gets it back. This man has a lot of throws available to him. Gentle meld into a zone nicely. And we've seen Hart tear it apart with those backhand breaks. He is just such an affinity for them, such a skill. Brown, Nicholson, Hart. And this is nice play from Vision. We know they can do it. And there's a huge arcing backhand. Gentle defender always had position. We know how good of a receiver Hatley is, but he couldn't get to that one in time. Understandably so. And there's a beautiful flick from Van der Voode. They collected one earlier and they collect one now.
This game is getting very exciting. Gentle are super fired up after that one. That was a fantastic grab. Great deep defense from Gentle, picking off the hook. And then quick turnaround, wasting no time taking a shot, going to their big man in the end zone.
Giuseppe Depote getting up big and taking that one home. Let's have another look at it. And whenever this man, Van der Voode, gets the disc, almost like a slingshot the way he sets up that hook.
Curving it over the defenders. Defenders, no chance. Great read from his offensive player. Depote takes his time, sees that he can just fade that flicker over them. Fantastic, and that's the break for Gentle. Really getting that momentum going again.
So that's 6-3. Despite going 1-0 down to start this game, Gentle have really started to assert themselves. Some beautiful overheads, nice play against the Vision zone, and a couple of big shots just to mix them in. So now here come Vision, trying to find their feet again, seeing their hopes dwindle ever so slightly.
Looks like a strip there. I think it was.
That's Beach calling the foul.
Yeah, no contest on it.
Gentle happy to acquiesce. As now he looks to get it to Nicholson. Does so. There's Hart in a dangerous position. Back to Nicholson. And Vision happy to just keep swinging it. This is nice, calm offense from them. Not getting too caught in it. Beautiful play through the gaps. Beach working excellently down there. He's been using as a support player so far, but now coming a little bit more into the fore. Nicholson, front of the end zone, almost on the line. Pops over the top and comfortably collected by Nick Brownbill.
That was very good by Vision. Once they got it past the cup, they just didn't stop going. Kept it ahead of the defense, didn't let the defense set until right about in the end zone, where they took their time, waited till they were sure they had a free man, and slotted it in there for a score. And that's a good hold. They really needed to stop any momentum Gentle have, and come back now, coming out on D, looking for a break.
So Beach and Brown did some great work initially, then Nicholson lets Brown come across with a nice cut, pulls the defense in that direction, and then he just pops it over the top. We can see Beach here again. So watch Brown, he'll dish it, and then he's gonna make a cut. You'll see him moving to the left to draw the defense, and right in that gap over his shoulder, hitting Brownbill. Excellent stuff out of Vision.
Yeah. Great play from both the teams in these zones. The wind is dying down here now. It was gale force nearly this morning.
Very afraid this tent was gonna blow away.
Yeah, I was holding it down during my last game I was commentating.
You were holding it down on the commentary as well?
Just about, I suppose. Good pull here from
Hart.
Vision, bringing us back into this game.
A man whose name we were able to get thanks to our wonderful assistant, because he decided to take off a jersey and just switch to white. As now we see Gentle, and there's that man again. Thinking about the shot, thinks about it for a long time before sending it. This is going to be a bit of a battle. No, it's not. That was a fantastically placed throw. Van der Voda.
Yeah, that was an absolute phenomenal flick. Defensive player was in good position downfield, but there was literally nothing he could do. That was just thrown around him. Even in this left to right breeze, as you're seeing it on the screen, he managed to hold that flick up. Lets his offensive player just run on, no pressure.
So that's Van der Voda to De Vrint. Let's have another look at it. You can see him pondering, making the decision. It's magnificently placed. I thought maybe he'd thrown it a bit too late based off his posture, but really he was just waiting for the perfect moment. You rarely see hesitation like that work out, but that's not hesitation, that is timing. And what a way to finish the half in commanding fashion. So that makes it 7-4 to Gentle, and Vision are going to have to recuperate. We will be back to you in just a few short minutes. And we are back. You can see Gentle already on the line as Vision make their way towards it. They started an offense, so they will be pulling to Gentle, who are currently in the lead 7-4. And if you want to be in the lead in the banking world, you need to make sure you save your money with Bank of Ireland, trusted partner and treasured sponsor of Siege of Limerick. Also want to give a shout out to Fulcha Ireland, making everyone feel welcome in our wonderful country and welcoming you to this stream as well. Running low on energy while we've been pounding back the Red Bulls to keep us going as well, and also a little bit of Ishka because you have to stay hydrated. Bringing you this wonderful stream free of charge. I'm Lorcan Murray. I'm joined by Owen Binchy, and like you were saying, it's quite the exciting game, Binch.
It is quite the exciting game. There's a lot of hooks going up now and a lot of big receivers, big plays. Some fantastic hooks despite the wind.
As Hart as it beats loudly in his chest, sends that one all the way down the pitch and almost out the back, but brilliantly done. It hit the ground first, or it certainly seemed like that from here, so they're going to have to take that one up to the front of the end zone.
Yeah, it looked like it was just in at the back.
Wonderfully measured. So now, Gentle try to ease themselves here into the second half and work their way towards the quarterfinals, and a massive throw coming out of the hands of Vrikin. Brilliantly timed and taken down excellently by Fuse. He's got a few options, looking for the pop, looking for somebody to get free on the dump. This is great panic defense. Eventually able to get it off. Goes for the flick, and then the backhand. A nice defensive pressure on the part of Vision. That was great stuff coming out of Tom Oxton.
That was awesome scramble defense that Vision managed to do. It was a fantastic hook, fantastic completion, but Vision managed to get numbers back as quickly as possible, get the D. Now they're coming out looking for another break.
Yeah, they know how important this moment is. Brown with the disc, gets it from Hart. Thinks about hucking it. He has a man free. Doesn't quite trust himself, send it that far, and it bounces out of the hands of Beach. Frustration momentarily crossing his face, but he's back to business, as you have to be if you're trying to corral Verikin. Somewhat of an unstoppable force as he gets the disc back for Gentle. Constantly moving, prying, poking, prodding. You see the match defense come out here in the second half. I wouldn't be surprised to see them switch it up. Van den Abbey has the disc, goes down the line, taken in. So now Gentle right outside the end zone, and this is a big moment. And there's a big hand block. That's exactly what Vision need.
That's exactly what they need. There, of course, they need to get 4 breaks if they want a chance of winning this game. And this is a great way to set up their first one of those.
Hart goes for the inside flick. I gotta tell you, Brown seemed to be jogging on that dump cut, not making it easy for his handler.
Yeah, it seems like these Vision players are getting a little bit tired on this defensive point. It is taking a lot of toll to play scramble defense that they're playing.
Verikin, a beautiful flick break all the way around. And that one's lofted up and comfortably taken in by Fuse for his second score of the game.
Yeah, again, just the Vision are looking a little bit tired now after that awesome scramble effort on defense that they managed to get the disc back twice, but really couldn't get much from it going on their offense. And then you see that they had Gentle had a free man there on the break side, no pressure, no force, able to continue it for a score.
I think you gotta give a lot of credit to Verikin with that lovely break to get it to Van den Abley. I can't tell if it's De Stoop or Van den Abley. I'm gonna say De Stoop because I'm pretty sure I'm pronouncing the guy's name wrong. They're both wearing number 17. So we'll go with the information we have available and the limitations of my own tongue. Yeah. So from now on, every number 17 will be De Stoop.
If you want us to read out your names correctly, wear different numbers and write phonetic pronunciations on the spreadsheets.
So Gentle, 8-4. Getting a little bit rough with Vision's hopes right now.
Yeah, we do have another 30 minutes left in this game, so it's not all over yet, but Gentle are really looking to command this game now. They're only 5 points away from hitting score cap and
securing a place in that top 8. How would you feel? Which one of these teams would you rather see tomorrow, Bench?
I think at the moment I'd rather see Vision. Gentle are looking really calm and confident in this wind. Those hammers are going to be a pain to deal with if we're playing any sort of zone or even match defense. The break side is just going to be such a dangerous spot with Gentle.
Hatley up the line to Hart, and he puts a lovely floater out, but not enough curve, as it's just gently shepherded out of play by Gentle. That was a nice defensive effort, clearly a cutter. Not looking to take possession of the disc in that kind of a situation right on the end zone line. It's a lot of pressure. Instead, he defers to the more experienced handlers. We'll see what they can generate. A high release flick, you love to see it, but unfortunately not completed. It was a difficult one, always trailing away from him, as now Vision get another look at the offensive hold.
Yeah, just the same shame. You'd have wished you'd seen a scuba there. Oh, good D from Gentle.
Making up for it, that is a brilliant D. The same man who shepherded out the last huck gets a big layout block. And Gentle get to go again. Critical moments, each passing one. This time going with the easier under. Smoothly sets that one out. Thinks about lashing it, decides against it. Bounces out of his hands. and unfortunately not able to bring it in. So a lot of mistakes creeping in here in the second point as we have another look at that huge layout D. Excellent stuff. Hart looking for someone, gets it to Nicholson, who's still putting in a tireless shift for his side, but there, just a slight mistake goes over the head of the intended receiver. And now Gentle with another opportunity. Swings available. Great defensive pressure, but a better offensive reception. Getting down and dirty to collect it. As they continue to swing it back and forth. Things seem to be getting a little bit more tired for both sides out there as the mistakes come in. But there's a huge shot all the way to the end zone. Furiously chased down by Coppins, but slightly too far ahead of him.
Yeah, I think we see now just it's a longer point. Gentle's D-line don't quite have the composure to keep this disc for as long as they need to score. They have enough energy to get a D though, and I really hope we see another layout D because they've been absolutely phenomenal.
And that was the layout reception. Excellent hunger. This is the younger elements of the Gentle side out here, as the Ghent players trying to blood their neophyte elements. Nicholson centers it to the middle of the pitch. And that's good play coming across. Haitley. And down the line again. This is fantastic stuff from Brownbill. He's so important to this Vision side, especially with how much effort he can put in. Hatley. Nicholson. Nicholson, Hatley, and Brownbill, three of the best players on this Vision side. He goes for that one and gets it. Brownbill able to cut off the incoming defender and get the score.
Yeah, absolutely phenomenal play from Vision there. They recognized Gentle were doing a lot of poachy defense downfield, and they had a deep poach, but they didn't jump the gun too early. Waited till they worked some unders, clear out that downfield, and then an absolutely phenomenal flick around here. Doesn't give the defender a chance, although you'd think, based on the last few bids that Gentle have put in, maybe he could have bid on this one, but again, just fantastic throw down the sideline, well received. Exactly what Vision need, but they need a bit more than that if they want to win this game. Gonna have to get a few breaks now.
So this is a big moment for Vision. They only have so many opportunities to start their comeback, and you can see there Gentle bringing out some of the big guns again. If you're a Gentle coach, you have to be happy with what you got out of your younger players. Good hunger, good defensive pressure, just not quite the composure to finish the job.
Yeah, this is I think this is probably the youngest Gentle team I've seen in my time attending the Siege of Limerick. Normally Gentle are known for having quite an old crew there, recurring favourites of this tournament. But it's great to see new young players coming through with that club.
That was smooth. And the throw was rescued somewhat by his teammate, but excellently done. There's a huge hook going up and a battle downfield. Vision have the inside and take it. Brilliant stuff by Brownbill. Gets it to Haitley. And you can see Brown's completely gone, but instead goes to Brownbill on the under. So now, Hatley just jukes and jives and gets free up the line. Looking to send it back into the middle, but good composure on the defensive end by Gentle, suffocating those options. Brownbill and Hatley looking to work together as that one goes down the center, but bounces out of the hands of Tom Oxton.
Yeah, it's just a bit unfortunate. It was good play from the Vision D-line there, playing a good bit of chilly offense, but just last second, can't quite reel it in.
De Vrint takes the disc, looks to pop it down the line, but it goes over the head. Oxton making up for his earlier drop with a lovely little interception. Gets it to Brownbill in the middle. Hatley, he's got Oxton going deep, but good coverage down by Gentle, helping each other out. And Vision not able to take advantage of it on the under from the poach. Back to Brownbill. Hatley's doing what he can. Now Brown tries to get free directly in front of him. Instead, he's forced to go around. Beautiful break by Brownbill. Seemingly unfazed right now by his opposition. Lovely down the line. And now Vision starting to knock on that door. He has Brownbill in front of him, but well shut off. This is a good active mark. Just able to get that inside one. That was a fantastic inside flick break. And now very dangerous man with the disc in front of the end zone. Brownbill looking for options. None becoming immediately available. And as he did all point long, he sends it to Hatley, although this one's going to go back.
We have a call on the play. But this is phenomenal work from Vision. They're really holding onto this disc and working it hard. Much more so than we saw in the previous points. This Vision team, this line does not look tired. They've just played D, got the disc back twice, and are playing some breakneck speed offense. keeping Gentle really working hard here just to maintain their pressure, get the disc back, and maybe get a hold. But this is now for Vision to get a break.
This, to me, is the moment Vision need to get a break. They're right in front of the end zone. They go to Oxton, and he collects it. That's a double happiness for the big man.
Or there might be a call on the play. I think they're not sure if he's in or not. It looks like they're calling him in. It's a good spare from both teams.
Excellent stuff. So Oxton initially had that drop, but then got it back with an interception on a slight overthrow, and they're completing the collection for the score.
I think that's bookends for him now, which is everything a defensive player wants. Get a bookends.
So Oxton, who up to this point in his life, the best picture he had of himself was him sitting completely naked on the barrel of an AA gun in an abandoned warship at night.
That's a pretty good picture.
I don't know, that one's almost better. So Vision get the necessary break. They bring it back to 8-6. They need 3 more. When you said earlier on Vision need 4 breaks, I thought, oh dear, this game might just be over. But now I'm starting to think they could get them. What about you?
Yeah, no, they've had 2 points in a row now. They just got a break. They've taken a little bit of time now calling their D-line, making sure they're all on the same page. I'm really interested to see what they're going to come out and do here. I don't think they should do a zone, but because of Gentle have just been so effective with these overheads and very effective at being calm and patient. But you never know; they might just try the zone again just to keep Gentle on their toes.
So disc floating down delicately. And it's collected by De Vrint. De Vrint pops that one back to De Stoop. Might not be De Stoop, but as we said earlier, that's what number 17 is going to be. And there is a crucial turn. A little bit difficult to catch, but I'm sure he'd want that one back as Oliver Brown was gaining on him all the time, putting that necessary pressure. And you see Phil Hart taking his time, calming his team. And a new offensive look, a side stack. You got to think this is a set play. Hart looking for Hatley. And there's the deep shot attempt, but Gentle are so good on help defense, snuffing it out. Hatley extending those go-go gadget arms and collecting it under a lot of pressure. This is a big moment for Vision. Brown gets it down the line. Nobody immediately available in front of him. For a second, I thought Beach might make a move. Hatley shut down, Beach in front. Now he's right in the middle, the big man. Those long arms might just help him get around the mark. Instead, he goes back to the dump, pops it to Hart. And this is where he needs to be steady. Allow his team to reset. That is good form. And they go for the break. Lovely stuff, collected comfortably. Brilliant. I think that was Jack Little getting the score, and Vision get another break.
That's absolutely fantastic. They can smell it now. They know. They've half the number of breaks they need to get. They're only 2 points now ahead, behind taking the lead. Only 1 point game in it at the moment. And you can see this Gentle team are really not sure what's happened in the last few points. So they're walking back quite slowly to the line, and doesn't really seem to. They really need to get a bit of leadership here. Get a coach Sean, get some idea of what they're going to do on this O-line. They've got to put this next one in. Otherwise, I think the ball is completely in Vision's court. Even if they're playing D, I don't think it matters at this stage. Vision are hyped up and ready to go.
Earlier on, when Gentle would have those turns, Vision would be happy enough to give it back to them, or Gentle could earn it back with a couple of big defensive plays. The last 2 times, they have been clinical. So Gentle are going to have to get back to that themselves. You saw how fired up they were at the end of the first half when they got that huge, huge grab. That was absolutely fantastic stuff. But now Vision are the ones in the ascendancy. 3-1 up in the second half, 8-7 down in the game overall. Personally, if I was Gentle, I would try to get into Van der Voogd's hands and just send it deep, maybe to De Stoop, maybe to Depote. But we'll see what they do themselves. That one's rescued from the clutches of gravity by De Stoop. I thought it was destined for turf. He had other ideas. Looking to pop it back under a lot of pressure. Instead goes down the line to Varikin. That was a great setup, and Varikin launches it deep. Here we go. Brown and Beach underneath it. They're both bigger, and they get the disc. Waiting to see if there's going to be a call. Fuse was down there.
I think he's just calling an injury now for injury substitution.
That is a tough one. He is one of the key receivers for this Gentle side.
And now you see Vision have the disc back, so they're ready to play down the other end. Oh, fantastic save there, again, as we're watching the replay.
And this is Varikin sending it up, but 2 big men in the forms of Brown and Beach on the defensive end, as good as Fuse is. Sometimes you just can't fight genetics.
No, it's a 2v1 there as well. In terms of bidding for the disc, the two defenders were in really good position, and he had a lot to do there to get that disc.
So let's see if Vision can tie it up. Brown, brilliantly shut down initially. Forced to go for a swing around to the other side. Oxton tries to get to the sideline, throws Van der Voort to the ground. As the kind of defensive intensity they're looking for. Brilliant cut by Brown to create that space and then get it. Somehow they're able to get that one through. I really thought that was going to be another layout D in the bank for Gentle, but instead not so much. Down the line to Beach. He's got a man isolated in the end zone, and that man is Nicholson. I would send it to him, but that's why I'm no longer a player. As Beach has Brown go down the line, lots of pressure. I don't think he knew Nicholson was there, but he'll take it as Brown continues the cut all the way to the end zone and ties it up at 8.
That's the 4th point in a row now for Vision. The ball is entirely in their side of the field. They are hyped up and ready to go, and Gentle just don't know what to do. You see them again here. They're walking back to the line. They're shell-shocked. They look absolutely shell-shocked.
If I had to pick an adjective, it would be despondent.
You know, many more adjectives than I do, Larkin. I'm assuming you mean they look a little bit vacant coming back.
They look a little bit defeated, a little bit deflated, kind of like a birthday balloon the next day. Let's see if they can find another way to lift themselves up. Right now, Vision are playing excellently. This is the best we've seen from them all day long. The boys from Britain charging antlers forward on this stag do. They're currently 8-8, Hart with the disc in hand. And again, it's another example of they get that turn. Their last 3 turns have all been cashed in for breaks.
Yeah, I mean, Gentle do still have the serve advantage here. It's 8-all, but they are fielding this pull. But you have to think it's entirely Vision's game at the moment.
They are certainly the ones with all the power. They were 7-4 down at half. They've since
8-4 then just straight after half. And
straight after half.
Now.
So certainly looking very confident. As now let's see what Gentle can do to stoop with the disc. Waiting for somebody. I thought Verica might be coming back under, but he cut it off as he saw one of his teammates coming instead. And they have, this is better. This is more composed. They're outside the end zone and they got there being patient. This is the kind of offense that Gentle want to play. So let's see if they can keep it going. Looking for options, and you can see the hunger in the Vision defense as they're starting to really throw themselves about the place. Centers it back into the middle of the pitch. Van de Vee. And there's an arcing pass around and a beautiful hold right when they needed it. Maybe a little bit of tiredness coming in for Vision.
Yeah, they couldn't have waited any longer to get that hold. That's really important for Gentle. And get their D-line out now again. Give their O-line a break. They've had 5-0 points in a row. Vision, or Gentle, I think, are calling a timeout here. Maybe we could have called the timeout a few points ago. But they have held. That was the most important job. They have maintained their lead. And now Vision have to go out, hold, and then ask to get this back off Gentle again.
So, a nice call there from Gentle. I like the idea of calling the timeout after scoring their own point. This was a bit of a conversation we were having last season in some of the commentary booths. When do you take the timeout? What's the best time to use it? I'm not a huge fan of taking timeouts when, say, you're right in front of the end zone, because a lot of those turn out to just be turnovers. You let the defense set back up. And when you're on a bit of a slide, you can understand wanting to take the timeout, stop it, see what you can do, but then you kind of still come out a bit stagnant. If you trust your offense, if you trust them to go out there and just get that point, stop the bleeding themselves, this kind of timeout can really deflate Vision.
Yeah, it's definitely a gamble, because if they didn't call their timeout and they waited until they were down, then their timeout is
defunct almost at that point.
Defunct. It's a bit too late. You want to call it before you start losing. Really dig your heels in, but they gambled on it. They didn't call the timeout, got the hold, and then now it does seem like they have a bit of momentum. Calling that timeout, letting Vision know that they're still in this game and they're still here to play. And they're still looking at the quarterfinal spot against Ranelagh.
Isn't it the spot everybody wants to be in, taking on one of the best teams in Ireland? In fact, one of the best teams in Europe, depending on the day. So, I just want to talk a little bit about, while we were saying how young this Gentle side is, and it is an incredibly young Gentle side, it is a very experienced one as they come up through that youth academy that's so well established in Ghent. It's a huge club. I believe they have over 300 members. which is, quite frankly, preposterous.
That's almost as many, I think that's many male players that the IFDA have registered, so in Ireland.
A very impressive thing. And the Gentle Ladies, one of the powerhouses of certainly Belgian Ultimate, and always nice to see them out playing in the European scene as well. They can do some damage as they try to fight their way into the top group. Gentle Men also looking for that spot. As now we see Beach trying to make sure his team doesn't let go another break. They fought so hard to get back in this game. They don't want to let Gentle push them out of it. Brownbill looking for a dump. Nice cut by Beach. Good little stutter step and goes back. The L cut, so effective. They think about sending it, but Hatley, now Hatless, out there thinking about it, takes the easier option. Gets it to Brownbill. Always reliable. You hear the cheers rise up from the pitch, and there's Hart collecting it. He's on the end zone line. He has Hatley in front of him, waiting for options. Maybe a little bit too long. Eventually gets it off to Brownbill. Swings it around to Beach. This is much better play. And this is excellent, excellent swinging. That's Phil Marshall. Goes for the break. Gets low, gets around, and sets up Oliver Brown.
Yeah, fantastic break there. Really important hold for Vision there. After that timeout, Gentle called, but they've said, no, we're still in this game too. This is probably going to go to the universe point. You look here at the replay, and it's just fantastic pivot here. As you're watching, he's been forced in the flick. Pivots all the way out, and then he releases it so far. Defender has no chance on downfield. It was incredible play.
It all started with Hart in the front corner of that end zone, not allowing himself to be suckered in, not allowing himself to force something. He did have Hatley, and that's the kind of man you trust, the kind of man where if you're in that kind of situation, late in the game, you're tired, a receiver who generally delivers the goods under pressure, you think, I'll just force it to him. Hart isn't like that. He's calm, settles his nerve, and then just swings it around. It goes Hart, Brownbill, Beach, Marshall, and a beautiful final break to Brown for the score. Excellent stuff. 5 players all doing their jobs.
Now let's see, can their D-line do it?
That is the big question. They have already got 3 breaks so far.
3 breaks.
As well as 2 offensive holds.
Since half.
Yeah.
They might have had a break in the first half, I'm not sure. But they'll need at least 1 more if they want to win this game and get that quarterfinal spot.
And this is their chance to take the lead. Something they haven't enjoyed since scoring the first point of the game with an offensive hold. And you can see how bad Nicholson wants it. That activity on the mark. De Stoop. Van de Voorde, and there's that catapult flick. And Hatley lets it go past him. He goes for the tap down. That's why you catch your D's, ladies and gentlemen. As there you go. Heartbreaking stuff. Hand in hands here in the booth.
Yeah, that's absolutely so heart destroying. As a defender, you get there first and you hit the disc, but it stays flying, and the offensive player was clever enough to never give up on it, picks it up, easy score after that, after the Gentle or the Vision defense weren't really sure where the disc was.
I feel like I have to say catch your D's constantly. As if people aren't taught this at the start. That's a big, impressive figure. And we don't want to speak disparaging of Hatley. He's been a big reason why they're able to fight their way back into this game. You know that one's got to hurt. So can they recover, do you think, from that kind of a demoralizing thing to happen?
I definitely think they can. They've been showing some excellent goal in this second half. Definitely winning the second half by a significant margin. Their O-line was fantastic in the last point, or 2 points ago. And we just want to see them do that again. They're really chilly O-line holds. You see Vision just calmly talking about what they're going to do this point.
Vision's offense has been very, very impressive in this second half. I'm fairly sure they've only turned it over once, and that includes their D-line plays, because a lot of these players do pull double duty. It's not the biggest of squads, and you have to worry, considering this is their 3rd game of the day, how tired they are. And that one goes to a defender or a receiver who wasn't looking for it, but Brownbill readjusts just in time. And unfortunately just throws that one out of the way of his intended receiver, Jack Little. Gentle wasting no time, launching it all the way down the pitch. Almost brought in the frustration on the face of Howard de Vrint.
There is a call of a stoppage. I think there's an injury call from...
it's an injury call, yeah.
From Gentle, but I feel like that turnover should stand because I don't think it affected play. It's up to the players on the pitch to decide that, though. But that guy was if the throw and the receiver weren't affected by that, it stands, and I think that's what they've decided. It's a good spirit from both teams there.
Gentle renown for their spirit. Vision as well. One of the more fun teams to play. Oh, do remember we do this for fun. Although, honestly, I gotta say, competitiveness is the most fun aspect of sport, as these two teams battle each other with fervor, but also respect.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I enjoy Frisbee anymore. I only enjoy winning. I don't get enough of that at the moment.
Well, then maybe you should stop playing for Ranelagh. And now Brownbill sends it down to Hatley. Hatley looking around for options. He has Beach in the dump, and he tries to force that one into Brown, and it bounces off. I've got to say, you've noticed a lot of hats have come off of Vision as the game's gotten more intense.
Yeah, I think they're getting a little bit tired now. You see, these are little silly errors as it goes up. That's big.
And De Vrint once again bounces out of his hands.
Goal signals, yeah, I think that was a strip.
That makes much more sense.
The defender just came across it as he had it in his hands and just bumped it out. That's a very important break in this game. Gentle taking the lead now by 2 points now.
11-9 to Gentle, and you can see they're starting to get those spirits back up. That's got to be a hard one. I have to agree with you about Vision. They just see those mistakes creeping in. As this one, De Vrint, much harder than the last throw, somehow catches it as it comes over his head. I almost think if he hadn't have had a Vision player strip him, he probably would have lost that in contact with the ground.
He didn't have a very strong grip on it anyway.
No, he did not.
just by the fingertips.
Well, by the fingertips is enough. By the grace of his cuticles, that he might be able to claw his team into the quarterfinals. We will see. Vision are not done yet, although there's only 7 minutes left until soft cap.
I think we're seeing the difference in the squad sizes make here. Gentle have a slightly larger squad. And I feel like Vision were putting out a lot of their big players for many points in the row there as they had that comeback. But they're really starting to get fatigued now. They need to get this O-line hold if they want to come back and win this game. So
Hart gets it to Brownbill. And these guys have been playing basically every point of this second half. Hart down the line. Wonderfully set up by Brownbill. Little takes off, but cuts himself under. Instead, Brownbill collects it. He has Oxton, who has a couple of steps, but decides against it. Little makes a cut into the open space. Hart down the line. He's super free. That man just seems to be able to shake off defenders. Pops it to Oxton, who takes his time and takes a little bit of cheek with it.
That's beautiful. And I have to say, Hart's dump cutting is just phenomenal. I'm really enjoying watching this player. As someone who likes to worm around in the dump space myself, it's a real treat to watch these players almost playing as if he doesn't have a defender. He can go around, he can go up the line, and he can get loads of yards whenever he wants. Always resetting it for his team, always providing an option, and then taking the shots when he sees them. Of course, they're holding for Vision, bringing us to back within one. There you see him go up the line, takes his time, sits into his flick, gets it around the defender, as we see it milked all the way in. Fantastic work from Vision.
I like Oxton taking the time, understanding he had position, and just catching it calmly. So Vision now need 2 breaks again. They were able to pull it level earlier on, and I gotta tell you, it does feel a little bit like this could be a universe point game.
I'm hoping it goes to universe point, because this is a really exciting game, and I want to see a disco up in that universe point between some of these big players.
Absolutely, there's been some brilliant battles. So Gentle certainly don't want to let that happen, and if they can see out this game with 2 more holds, they will win it. And there's another shot from Van der Voorde. It's dropping low, and Hatley wasn't close enough to D it back up into position.
It has rolled a good bit down the pitch though, so that's pretty
advantageous.
Amicable roll for Vision.
An amicable amble from the disc. So now Vision just past the brick mark. On the sideline, Brown with the disc in hand. Going back to the brick mark, actually. Immediately centers it. And now they're just trying to get it to a few people. And a huge layout D! That was massive. And who else but Fuse? Exploding for the athletic block. And now Gentle get another shot, but that one might be too far ahead of Van Voorde.
Yeah, just a little bit unfortunate. I think they tried to play too quickly there off the turn, but that was a phenomenal D. And he's been doing that. He's been so key to this Gentle team.
He's one of the athletes that they really rely on. We've seen him on the receiving end of several crucial scores, as well as just throwing himself about there with a little bit of reckless abandon, which you love to see. So now maybe Vision calm themselves. And again, I think that's a little bit down to the tiredness of Vision. They would have taken that earlier in the match. But it's Herculean on their part right now. As here they come. A deep shot immediately, or a deep cut even. Hatley looking around, doesn't like his options. He has Brown clear out. Beach now. And Beach is being put in a locker that he can't get out of. He's forced to go for a flick, but wow! Not quite enough float. For a moment, I thought he'd absolutely carved them apart with that.
Yeah, he was running out of time on the disc there, and he just took a shot down the field.
For a panic shot, it looked good.
For a panic shot, it looked very good. He had a player there running deep. Wasn't quite ready for it. I don't think he looked up before he threw, but that was a pretty fantastic throw. You want it down this end anyway.
So Jack Little couldn't quite react to it in time. And here we're starting to see a point quite akin to those of the first half. A lot of turns.
The wind has died down almost to nothing now. The flags are barely moving beside us. So it's good to see that there's not as much pressure on the throws. And we can see a bit more float coming out.
And there's the curse of the commentators bouncing out of the hands of the normally incredibly impressive De Stoop. A bit unfortunate. I think that was one of the examples of he jumped slightly too early, and then you find yourself reaching for something that's moving away from you.
You can never just quite get it.
Just like a childhood dream is now Hart trying to make his own team's dreams come true and make the quarterfinal. Beach extending his body and putting it on the line to collect that disc.
I think there's a pick call downfield, some sort of stoppage anyway.
That would explain why Hatley was so ludicrously free.
Yeah. Now, what I want to see now is for Hatley and Hart to really just take over this Vision offense and play it through the two of them and then swing it around to the rest of their team.
That was a lovely stutter step by Hatley, but he manages to get around instead to Brownbill. Brownbill, for me, has been one of Vision's standout players as well. Another person who could really put the team on his back. Beach is really struggling to get free lately in these games, although I have to eat those words almost immediately as he served up a beautiful break. Pops it back to Brownbill. And there's a nice inside. Wonderful stuff from Vision, and they tie it up one more time. 11-11, just under the point cap.
Yeah, so it looks like we're going to game to 13 regardless of the time cap. And you see Hart there telling his players what they're going to have to do for this next point if they need to get the tee. They've 2 chances now.
Dose.
And they'll need to get one of them. Here we see again Beach on the sideline.
And you see Brownbill. This is a beautiful, almost straight line break, but it still is basically a break because it fits in that tiny little sliver of a gap.
Those are those ones that the defense comes away and they're not sure whose fault it is. It's not really the break side, but at the same time it is the break side downfield.
So, Vision, hoping to see themselves through to the quarterfinal. Gentle, trying to guide their hand delicately through these next 2 0 points and take their position against Ranelagh, who will await the victor of this game. I mean, it is a prize, but it's not the prettiest, as that promises to be just as tough.
It's probably about as far as either of these teams will go anyway.
I'm not so sure after we've seen what they're capable of right now. Both sides, very impressive. And Ranelagh, not the best Saturday.
We've had better, I suppose. But we're not too bad. We're still in the top 8. That's better than we've done some years.
Very true, as a big throw goes up. Siege of Limerick, of course, the inaugural tournament of Ranelagh. First time that club ever played was at a Siege of Limerick many years ago, I believe 2011. So, here come Gentle, looking for the hold. Depote pops it back. And I'm just enamored with Verikin. I love his style of play.
I think there's a pick call downfield. They're just discussing what the stall count should come back in on.
We've seen a battle of the 31s between Verikin and Nicholson in this game, and it has been tantalizing.
Yeah, this is a good matchup. I really like to watch this. That's the Gentle captain against one of the best players on Vision.
I'm sure that wasn't by accident as well. Van der Voorde, he's got a man in a difficult hit position. You've seen a lot less overheads from Gentle in this second half. And there's a huge arcing flick. Hart's underneath. He's going to need to get massive, and he can't. Absolutely roofed by who else but Arthur Light the Fuse.
Yeah, this guy is really keeping Gentle in this game. His phenomenal individual performance. Oh, I think that might be game. I think they might have, yeah, they heard a time cap go a little bit before we did.
Unfortunately, so that was Universe Point. We apologize. Our time cap must have started slightly too late. So we did get the Universe Point we were hoping for. We did get the exciting end to Saturday that we wanted to see. But if you thought that was entertaining, well, let me tell you. Let's have another look. Who else but Van der Voort is going to put this up? Stall count gets high, lays it out, and who else but Fuse on the other end? You have to trust him.
Yeah, Fuse over Hart. Hart had such a phenomenal game on offense. Pretty much unstoppable at the backfield, but Fuse, incredible athletic player. Going up, he's took down a load of these discs, scored plenty of points in this game, and got a lot of Ds as well.
So that brings to a close the first day of Siege X.2, the 10-year anniversary, 1 year removed, and we are here all day tomorrow as well. Same bat time, same bat channel. Brought to you completely free, thanks to the wonderful efforts of our sponsors. Fulcha Ireland, always making it welcome here in Ireland. Bank of Ireland, a welcome place for your money. And 5 Ultimate, the best gear you can get. As well as UL Sport, who are supporting us through this. Ireland Sporting Campus. Ishka Water to quench that thirst. Red Bull to give you the energy to keep going. Just Eat, in case all of you are hungry right now. I don't know how you weren't full from that, but certainly if you need something more, call those and they will bring you the best food available and fulfill nutrition for the best energy around. Okay, so I've been Lorcan Murray. I've been joined by the wonderful
Owen Vinci.
And we will be back tomorrow bringing you the quarterfinal, semifinal, and final action from the men's and women's divisions. There's only one place for action, and that is right here in Limerick.
I'll take your broken smile and mend it to the sun.
Alti.tv